I just want to put a few things out there if you're into jujitsu and or game pickup and just life in general. I find that jujitsu really solidifies concepts that I know in my mind, but I don't necessarily apply to my life. Um, Jiu-jitsu being such a physical thing, it's interesting. You just try something the same. As you learn and grow, you have to stop doing the things that are fucking you up. And a lot of times it's just things are so ephemeral in the mind, but when you're on a mat and you're putting in work to get a position, and it's work to get that position, and then you get that position and it's not going to work. So instead of trying the right thing, you try the thing that you've always tried. And in order to get what you've never got, you got to do what you've never done. And that is very hard to do for most people, to do something other than what they normally do. And so it just gave me a context for looking at situations and just going, oh, like maybe there's a different way to do this. Maybe I could do something else. Maybe there's another way. And that's literally what is being taught in jiu-jitsu is options. You can do this, you can do that. If you get there, you can do that. If you can get that, then you can do this. And if you can't get that, then you do this. If you get, and on and on and on and on. So, which, you would think it'd kind of be the opposite. You'd be like, well, can't you do more things in real life than on the mat in jiu-jitsu? And it's like, yes, but sidebar, hashtag fucking take a breath. Not if you can't see different ways, and not if you're not thinking in that way of what could I do differently? What can I do differently? What can I change about me and my situation? What can I control? What can I control to gain leverage in order to gain the position to attain the submission or the close or the whatever goal? What can I do to finish instead of doing the thing that I've been doing that's not been working, but I just keep trying it anyway because I don't really know what else to do? And the interesting thing about that in jiu-jitsu is it really is a process of trial and error. I'm in training, I'm not afraid to make mistakes, man. I get in there and I try shit they've never taught, they're never going to teach, and it doesn't work, and so I'll never do that thing again. And I'm a big proponent of saying you don't got to get hit by the bus in order to know to look both ways. But pain is the greatest teacher, and without pain and without failure, it's very hard to do something that just requires complex, deep, intense thinking. That it's one of those things where everything in the moment has to go exactly right in order for that thing to click into this reality and actually happen. Which, you could say that's a skill jiu-jitsu is teaching me. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm just sharing what I'm going through as a white belt on this journey to a black belt. It's so insane just to be able to take that abstract thinking of like what I just said and apply it to other things in life. It can be so many things. I'm just going to move on to the next point that I had. And so let me tell you what happened yesterday was I got my ass kicked. Now, normally in jiu-jitsu, when we roll the 3 rounds, the 3, 5, or 6 or 7 minute rounds at the end of every class, we do 3 or 4 or 5 rounds. Normally, I don't just get straight dominated. Number one, because I'm just a generally kind of a froggy guy. When I get excited, I get real intense real quick, and to my disadvantage, you know, that's something I'm seriously working on, which is also helping me pause. Taking that pause, taking that break, taking that, like, hold on, before I do this, what about that moment, to where I give myself a second to think. And a lot, I can tell you, I can attest to this. Every fuck up I've ever seriously made in my life that's had any real problem, caused any real problem in my life, I can tell you it's been, I wasn't thinking. It's almost never, I thought a lot about it and I did this one thing that completely wrecked my life. I mean, you know, it's not the punch that you see coming that knocks you out. It's the one that you don't see that knocks you out. And it's the things that you don't think about that get you. It's almost never the shit that you thought about. You know, I mean, if you thought about it, unless you're just a crazy person, you generally adjust your actions to fit your theory accordingly. I mean, that's kind of the process for living life. I mean, that is the that's the structure of values and morals and beliefs, is that if I believe this, then I'll act like that. And that's what knowing yourself means. If you know yourself and you know, if I think this, because I think this, I'm going to act like that, it makes it a lot easier out there in the real world when you encounter all kinds of crazy things. And assuming you even get out in the real world, man. I mean, so this is the point I was going to make. So, in game, in pickup, in meeting people, it's anything, you know, if you're not a business person, and if you're not like, dude, just go with me here. Just a thought experiment, okay? It's a numbers game, all right? Life, you could call life a numbers game. It's how many times at bat do you swing? How many swings do you swing? How many times do you practice that swing? Life is about reps. Time on the mat, time doing the skill, time learning it, time put in. That's it. You can't get good at push-ups by thinking about them, okay? You have to do the push-ups, okay? David Goggins, to break the world record for pull-up, he did 67,000 push-ups in preparation for doing 4,000 push-ups, okay? So you know, that's almost 5%. Now, what I'm about to tell you is the magic number in pickup is 20. 1 out of 20. 1 out of 20 girls, just on the off chance of being horny, will want to talk to you. I mean, if you talk to 20 people, somebody's going to want to talk to you, and that you'll make a decent connection with. So what is that? 5%. You have about a 5% win rate. And it's actually the same thing in e-commerce. About 1 out of 20 products that you post that are quote-unquote hot-selling products will you actually be able to make pop with the Facebook pixel and so on and everything else. So we're too I don't want to call them ideologies, although they are, but I just want to call them ways of being, lifestyles. That's what we'll call them, lifestyles. Two very deeply thought out and well-researched and well-tested lifestyles have this number 5% in common. We got a 5% win rate in talking to people, and we have a 5% win rate when testing products on, you know, e-commerce. Now, what tripped me out was yesterday when I got my ass kicked. I was just going with a lot of higher belts. That's all. That's how you get better. That's it. And I just have this thing, you know, I literally go through my day going win, like every step. Like I take a step, I'm like win, like just win. And so that's why I never get ragdolled, dude. Like I never get ragdolled. I like whoever it is, I'm going to give you some trouble. If you're going to try to tap me, boy, you're going to have to pay for that one, you know? And so, I felt like fucking crying. Like, I got my ass handed to me so bad. I felt like crying, and I never cry, okay? I never fucking cry. And I just had to gather myself, and, you know, we wrapped up the class and bowed out, and I just, you know, dissipated those feelings as best as I could, and caught my breath. And I, you know, the last guy that I rolled with, I was standing there talking to him, and he was like, he said, you know, yeah, bro, you know, we all got to taste the poison, man. Just today just happened to be your day. And I was like, yeah, man, but like, that's winning. Like, that's winning. Like, like getting up and going back at it. Because he was saying, he was like, you don't quit, dude. Like, the whole time, you don't quit, bro. He's like, you just don't quit. And that's kind of been my thing in every sport that I've ever competed in, is I just fucking hustle. And he looks at me, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, yeah, man, like, that's fucking winning, you know? I'm just trying to push through the fucking moment. And he looks at me and goes, you're the 5%, dude. He goes, you are the 5%. He's like, look around, man. How many people are here? It's, you know, it's a no-gi Thursday class, man. I mean, we have, you know, close to 100 members. There's like 8 guys there, and 9 including the instructor. For real. He's like, dude, you know, that's what he said. And it tripped me out, because here we are yet again with this 5% number. And it's so funny, dude, because I did not catch it at first. I had to, like, it was later in the day when I actually was like, oh, what? I was like, why did I kept asking him, I was like, why did he say 5%? Because, like, just some part of my mind knew there was this correlation we have going here. And I was like, why didn't he say 1%? I was almost kind of like, why did you say 1%? You know what I mean? I was just so emotional at the moment, because I was just got my ass handed to me, man. Okay, I'll tell you why, because I just was going against way higher belts, and that's just, I just feel like I'm making excuses and all this and that. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days, you win, you lose, you come to training, you win, you lose, you come to training, you win, you lose, you come to training. So it just was that day I tasted the poison, and I was like, why did he say 1%? I had the poison in me, and I just thought later that day, I was like, 5%, you know? Because I was like, dude, if you were the 1%, I was like, number one, if you were the 1%, like, that's just obnoxious insofar as nobody to relate to. You're going to be great at whatever, you're in the top 1% of anything, dude, great, good for fucking you, but good luck relating to anybody, I mean, that's not also in the 1% of either your field, which there's going to be very few because you're the 1%, or you got to be in some other industry talking to that 1%, and that's going to be kind of unrelatable. So, welcome to having very few peers at the top 1%. Now, the top 5%, hey, you know, you got a few more peers. You got 5 times more than you did at the 1%. So I was like, you know what? Sweet. I'm in the top 5%. So I'm sure there will be more interesting 5% clues. But until then, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for listening. Peace.